The movie is set in the year 1870 and follows the story of Cedric, a widower struggling to manage his large family. Cedric's household is in constant chaos due to his 7 rough children: Simon, Tora, Lily, Eric, Sebastian, Chrissy, and baby Aggie. These children are notorious for their unruly behavior, having a reputation for scaring away every nanny hired to care for them. In a particularly alarming prank, the children convince their latest nanny that they have cooked and eaten the youngest sibling, baby Aggie, leading to her immediate departure. However, Cedric comes home to find Aggie safe, although in a cooking pot. Frustrated and desperate for help, Cedric attempts to hire another nanny. However, his efforts are futile as the local nanny agency refuses him service, having heard of his children's dreadful reputation. As Cedric leaves the agency, a mysterious voice whispers about a nanny named McPhee who is not listed in any registry. Back at home, Cedric warns his children against their misbehavior and orders them to bed. Simon, the eldest, declares triumphantly that they won't have to deal with any more nannies. Meanwhile, Cedric, feeling overwhelmed, writes an apology letter to the latest nanny. The household is still in disarray, with the housekeeper, Evangeline, struggling to maintain order. Simon expresses his belief that their father has grown distant since their mother's death and is only concerned with finding a new wife, whom Simon fears will mistreat them like a typical evil stepmother. Cedric's worries are compounded by a threat from their great-aunt Lady Adelaide, who insists that he must gain control over his children and remarry within a month, or she will cut off their financial support. This is a dire situation, as losing the allowance would mean the loss of their home and the older children being sent to work. Amidst this turmoil, the children tie up the house cook, Mrs. Blatherwick, and continue their noisy behavior in the kitchen. That night, amidst a raging storm, a peculiar and mysterious woman appears at their doorstep. This woman introduces herself as Nanny McPhee, a government-appointed nanny. Her appearance is striking and unusual, marked by numerous imperfections including a bulbous nose, a snaggletooth, drooping earlobe, warts, a unibrow, and unkempt hair. Despite her unconventional appearance, Cedric, driven by desperation, invites her into their home. Nanny McPhee confidently asserts that she possesses the necessary skills to reform the children's behavior, indicating that her presence is exactly what Cedric's family requires. Upon entering the kitchen, Nanny McPhee introduces herself, but the children, in their usual bad manner, pretend not to hear her. Unperturbed, she instructs them to clean up the kitchen and prepare for bed. However, Simon, the ringleader, suggests they spend the entire night playing in the kitchen, a proposal enthusiastically supported by his siblings. In response, Nanny McPhee reveals her magical staff and taps it on the floor. Suddenly, the children begin to move uncontrollably, creating even more chaos in the kitchen. Despite their screams and attempts to stop, they find themselves unable to control their actions, and they suspect Nanny McPhee's staff is behind this peculiar occurrence. As the situation escalates, Nanny McPhee calmly requests Simon to say please to stop the mayhem. With Aggie in danger of being boiled, Simon and the other children, in their desperation, comply. Another tap of Nanny McPhee's staff instantly restores order, and the children, bewildered, head to their rooms. While getting ready for bed, Simon convinces the other children to continue with their defiant behavior, confident they can drive Nanny McPhee away just as they did with the previous 17 nannies. In a show of defiance, the children introduce themselves to Nanny McPhee with made-up humorous names. However, they are taken aback when Nanny McPhee bids them goodnight using their real names. Before leaving, she mysteriously tells them that she will remain with them as long as they need her but do not want her, and will leave once they want her but no longer need her. Simon asserts that they will never want her, to which she responds that she will then never leave. Simon, undeterred, vows to the others that they will get rid of her the next day. Nanny McPhee then informs Cedric that she has successfully put the children to bed, a claim he finds hard to believe given their history. Intrigued, Cedric follows her and inquires about her terms of employment. She explains that she is there to teach the children 5 important lessons, with the first one already accomplished: going to bed when told. She also mentions her need for Sunday afternoons off. The following morning, Nanny McPhee attempts to wake the children, offering them half an hour to prepare for some healthful fresh air before breakfast. After she leaves, Simon thinks another evil plan. Meanwhile, Nanny McPhee informs Cedric that the children will be confined to their beds all day as a lesson. Returning to the children's bedrooms, she finds them with their faces painted, claiming illness as an excuse to stay in bed. Nanny McPhee feigns sympathy for their supposed sickness, agreeing that they must remain in bed. The children are initially pleased with their successful ruse. However, after Nanny McPhee taps her staff on the floor and exits the room, they shockingly discover they are physically unable to leave their beds. As the story continues, Cedric, the widowed father, faces increasing pressure. He receives a stern letter from Aunt Adelaide, insisting that he must remarry within a month. This demand puts Cedric in a difficult position, prompting him to start considering potential brides. One of the women he thinks about marrying is Selma. Meanwhile, Nanny McPhee takes a firm approach with the children's feigned illness. She enters their bedroom carrying a large bottle of medicine, declaring that they must consume it to cure their supposed sickness. Reluctantly, and with much distaste, Simon and the other children are made to swallow a spoonful of the unpleasant thing. Later, Nanny McPhee instructs the cook to prepare a particularly unappetizing broth for the children, ensuring they eat it as part of their lesson. In a surprising turn of events, Cedric hears his children politely say "please" for the first time, leading to the disappearance of one of Nanny McPhee's warts. Nanny McPhee then informs Cedric that they have successfully completed the second lesson, which is to get up when told. The next significant challenge arises with the impending visit of Aunt Adelaide for tea. Cedric hopes for the children to exhibit their best behavior, but the timing coincides with Nanny McPhee's day off, as it is a Sunday. Aunt Adelaide arrives and discusses with Cedric her intention to take one of the children into her custody, a promise she had made to Cedric's late wife. Little Chrissy overhears this discussion and quickly informs Tora. In an attempt to stop Adelaide's plans, the children dress the farm animals in their clothes, hoping to deceive her. However, the prank backfires, and Adelaide becomes furious upon seeing a donkey wearing her hat. The children, terrified at the thought of losing one of their own, desperately call for Nanny McPhee's help. Magically sensing their need, Nanny McPhee strikes the floor with her staff, causing the donkey to start dancing. Adelaide, mistakenly believing the donkey is one of the children, decides to take it with her. Nanny McPhee cautions the children that one of them must leave as per Adelaide's demand. In a dramatic sequence, Adelaide takes a child away in her carriage, leaving Cedric and the children in a state of shock and distress. However, their despair turns to relief when they realize that all the children are still with them. It is revealed that Adelaide has unwittingly taken Evangeline, the housekeeper, instead. That night, the children express their heartfelt gratitude to Nanny McPhee for saving Chrissy, resulting in all of Nanny McPhee's warts disappearing. Nanny McPhee then visits Cedric to inform him that the third lesson, getting dressed when told, has been completed. Cedric, concerned for Evangeline's well-being, is reassured by Nanny McPhee. During this conversation, she reveals to him that it was Simon's idea to send Evangeline with Adelaide, as it would provide Evangeline with the education she had always desired. Several days after the previous events, Nanny McPhee takes the children to the beach for an outing. There, she informs them that Selma will be coming for tea. The children, worried about the prospect of having a potentially unkind stepmother, plead with Nanny McPhee to prevent Cedric from marrying Selma. Nanny McPhee expresses her inability to intervene directly in Cedric's decisions, but she hints that Simon might have the power to influence the situation. The following day, Simon seeks out his father in his office to discuss Selma. Cedric dismisses Simon's concerns, stating that Selma is merely a friend and that it's not Simon's place to meddle in adult matters. Frustrated, Simon challenges this, asserting that it becomes his business if Selma is to become their new stepmother. Cedric, losing his temper, tells Simon that he's too young to understand such adult issues and sends him away. Simon leaves, upset and feeling unheard by his father. Returning home in search of Nanny McPhee, Simon finds her room empty, with only her magical stick present. In a moment of desperation, he takes the stick and strikes the floor with it. Suddenly, Nanny McPhee appears, reading her book. Simon asks for her help in getting rid of Selma, but she refuses to intervene directly. However, she warns Simon of the consequences of his actions, to which he confidently agrees. Selma's visit to their home the next day is chaotic. The children execute a series of pranks to disrupt the meeting between Cedric and Selma. In an attempt to shield Selma from the children's mischief, Cedric ends up in a compromising and embarrassing position with her. Despite the confusion and the children's antics, Selma remains oblivious to the pranks and is eager for a marriage proposal. However, when further pranks spoil Cedric's attempt to propose, Selma becomes infuriated, slaps him, and leaves, vowing never to see him again. That night, a disheartened Cedric confesses to the children that he can no longer support the family on his own. He explains that Aunt Adelaide's financial assistance is crucial and that her condition for continuing it is his remarriage. Without her support, they risk losing their home and the children being sent to work. Cedric apologizes and leaves the room, weighed down by the situation. The children, regretting their actions, beg Nanny McPhee to magically reverse the day's events. However, she reminds them of Simon's agreement to accept the consequences of their actions and advises them to solve the problem on their own, highlighting their cleverness. The next morning, the children visit Selma at her home to apologize. Selma initially blames Cedric for the previous day's chaos, but the children insist it was their fault. Upon learning about Aunt Adelaide's financial ultimatum, Selma quickly changes her attitude. She returns home with the children and gives Cedric another opportunity to propose. This time, she accepts his proposal. Later, Cedric visits the children in their bedroom, assuring them that he will never keep secrets from them again. Nanny McPhee then informs Cedric that the fourth lesson, learning to listen, has been successfully completed. On the day of Cedric's wedding to Selma, a tense atmosphere prevails. Selma, in a gesture that exposes her true nature, demands that the children behave well from that day forward. She even goes so far as to break Aggie's rattle, a precious keepsake of their late mother, solidifying her image as the cruel stepmother the children had feared. Nanny McPhee observes these developments from a distance, aware of the unfolding drama. The wedding day takes an unexpected turn with the arrival of Adelaide, who brings along Evangeline. To everyone's surprise, Evangeline has undergone a remarkable transformation into a refined, well-mannered lady. As the wedding ceremony progresses, Selma sternly instructs the children to behave. In response, Aggie amusingly mimics Selma, saying "beehive" instead of "behave." Seizing the moment, Nanny McPhee advises Simon to follow the fifth and final lesson: do exactly as you are told. Inspired by this guidance, Simon hatches a plan. He and the other children orchestrate a chaotic scene, pretending that a swarm of bees, attracted to Selma's flowered hat, has invaded the wedding. This ruse leads to Cedric realizing his own and his children's genuine aversion to Selma. When Selma questions Cedric about the supposed bees, he plays along, swatting at an imaginary bee so vigorously that Selma is knocked to the ground. The wedding devolves into a wild food fight, with even Evangeline participating. Frustrated and humiliated, Selma calls off the wedding and storms away. In the midst of the chaos, Adelaide expresses her disappointment and prepares to leave with Evangeline. However, Simon intervenes, pointing out that the month given to Cedric to remarry is not yet over. The children propose Evangeline as a suitable bride, much to Adelaide's initial disbelief. Upon learning that Evangeline is actually the maid and not Cedric's daughter, Adelaide gives her consent. Cedric and Evangeline confess their mutual love. Nanny McPhee, sensing the perfect moment, taps her staff on the ground, transforming the weather into a magical snowfall. Evangeline's clothes are instantly changed into a stunning white wedding dress. Aggie's rattle is miraculously restored, and Nanny McPhee's physical imperfections disappear, revealing her true, beautiful appearance. The movie concludes with joyous celebrations of Cedric and Evangeline's wedding. Amidst the happiness, Nanny McPhee quietly departs, her mission accomplished. She leaves, knowing she is now wanted but no longer needed, fulfilling her promise that she would stay only until the family could manage without her.